Puma, it was in the 60s you had to do that.
Well, I had to do it in the noughties or whatever.
Yeah, because the mechanics are still from the 60s, so they believe in that.
Oh,
The
right.
new ones, they never tell you that.
It's really hard to do.
It's hard to drive faster than 50 anyway. No one has to tell me that. Would you drive faster than 50 here?
Yeah, 70.
Not more than 30.
Only this guy is here, this was this big guy.
And that guy?
150 or something.
Yeah.
German Michael Schumacher. It's his sadhana because he really counts that one day he will hang on a tree somewhere. It's his way out. He really tries hard to find a way out of.
Yeah, well, you're probably better off going out in one go rather than being smashed up.
Yeah, but who wants to go in one sport?
Who wants to go back?
Beat by
Why not making it very slowly, hanging on machines and enjoying every moment of it? All these people who enjoy, they'll tell you, I enjoy everything. The moment you're on the machines, they want to die, they want to stop it. Then suddenly the tolerance limit is crossed. What are you talking there all the time?
To see you. I want to see you.
But for that you have to talk. I want to see you. Hear me, please. See me.
look at me.
Touch me. Don't touch me. Can feel me from the distance.
Yes.
Now I remember coffee. See, that's why I didn't want to have another coffee at home. Lavazza. Alexandro, especially for you. For all the Italians. I'm always pleasing them when I say Italian coffee you cannot. But then I don't mean it. But I lie anyway. So good. We start with biscuit or nuts.
Big problem.
It's a big decision to make.
Wow.
Biscuit or nuts? No, but for me it's always easy. I'm so nuts. So good. Who wants?
Darf ich bitte eine Frage auf Deutsch stellen und übersetzen es?
Well, most of them they understand German anyway.
Oh yes. For sure. Totally.
There. All Germans. They're all the German side.
Mich würde interessieren, weil ich gestern mit einem Bekannten hier um den Arnoldschaler herumgelaufen
He
bin.
made a production yesterday, and his friend told him this is cleaning his karma.
Yes.
No.
Huh?
Was will
I met him on the way.
Yes.
I just was buying my bike, and he was there just coming, cleaning his karma.
Nein, not for me. Also es ist nicht so, dass ich daran glaube, aber ich bin mit dem mitgelaufen, weil ich das einfach mal machen wollte.
Yeah, it's nothing against. I tell you, it's good for sport. It's a good sport. It's good for sport, getting healthy.
Special
Good.
Ich würde gerne wissen, was Sie eigentlich über Karma sagen.
I like Kama Sutra. Karma in German, in Spanish is like camera. That's like karma. Did the camera decide to be a camera? Or what decided that the camera is a camera? Hat der Apparat sich entschieden dafür, ein Apparat zu sein, der Aufnahmen macht? Ja, also, das ist Karma. Darum heißt es Kamera. Goodbye. So that you didn't decide to have this whatever body genetic conditioning from your ancestors, that you can call karma, genetic design from all your ancestors before. Since Adam and Eve, Eve says karma, the karma of the wish to know yourself, that's karma. Der Wunsch, sich zu kennen, das ist karma. That's come from Adam. So you're damned by Adam, wanting to know himself. Choosing the tree of knowledge. That's called the beginning of karma. So it's all the karma of consciousness. The big karma of this Bewusstsein. The one who wants to know himself, wants to be bewusst. So what to do? That's called karma, and you are just a functioning of it. The function of consciousness who wants to know himself, or itself, whatever. That's called karma. So it's a karmic consciousness. But there is no individual karma in it. So it's not, nothing is your karma. You are just a functioning of that karma of consciousness. Where this moment is creating the next moment. So it's like action, 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 action. That what is action is reacting to that what is action. So it's action, 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 action of that what is consciousness. The intention of knowing itself, permanent. So now we know what is karma, or not. No. Well, you for sure not. Because it's impossible to get him out of his personal karma, because he wants to be personally awake. He wants to be a personal enlightened one. He will be the first personal enlightened one who claims that he is enlightened, and because I made jewelry for Osho. No, it will never stop. So in that karmic thing, there is sometimes subconsciousness believes that he got it, or it got it. Now it's clear. So there's clarity. That is then creating another unclarity, because then you want to keep that clarity, and the moment you want to keep the clarity, you become unclear again. It's a fantastic game. So the moment you want to own clarity, it's relative again, and then you, shit, it's not it. Wow, fuck it all. Or beauty, or love. So the moment you think, now I got it. Now I'm in unconditional love. I love everything. And then you want to stay in it. And the moment you want to stay in it, you're out again. It's gone. Because the moment you are in it, it's conditioned. So there's no unconditional love anymore. So wherever you are, there is conditioned. Whatever. Unconditional hate, maybe, I would say. So out of the unconditioned, Shiva Shambhu, the unconditioned one, the one who doesn't know himself, he starts realizing himself as that presence of him, as Jiva, and the moment Shiva is Jiva, he doesn't like it. He wants not to be Jiva. It's not what he likes. So what moment he's Jiva, he hates himself to be a Jiva. So there's unconditional hate. Whatever the Jiva is experiencing is like an unconditional hate experience. And then he wants to get out of it. So that is like hell. And the other side is when Shiva doesn't know himself, the not knowing. Then there's heaven, because then there's unconditional love for himself. There's just loving. So knowing and the not knowing. The knowing, there's a knower who knows himself, hell. The not knowing himself, heaven. And you are that what is realizing itself as both. So the moment you realize yourself, there's this polarity. Drop that, you beast, they would say in Germany. That means virus. It's a good wish, like, for that. Get rid.
Thank you, dear.
Everyone is first a bit shocked. Drop that, you beast. How does he know me? No. So, where was it? Unconditioned?
Unconditional.
Condition.
Hate, about hate.
No, this is like in the old tradition in India, the Shiva, the Trinity of Shiva. In his knowledge, as knowledge, realizing itself as knowing and not knowing. Two faces of Shiva. As Jiva in his whatever, and in not knowing in his no moon experience, is not knowing. And not knowing is his preference. It became his preference, and that's why everyone here has a preference. The me has a preference to get rid of the me, because the me knows already without the me he is better off. So that you try all the time to kill your ego. And as much you want to kill it, you confirm that you need an ego to kill to be. Fantastic, huh? It's a perfect game. Wonderful. I love it. No way out of it. It runs perfectly since ages, still infinity. This, whatever, absolute in action.
Can you accept this?
No.
No?
You can only accept that you will never accept that to be a jiva. That you can accept maybe that there will never be any acceptance of being a jiva. That you maybe, that is the closest you can come to the acceptance you are. But only by being acceptance itself, who never needs to accept anything. There was nothing ever happened anyway. There is neither knowing or not knowing. Neither. Neti. But the moment you know yourself or don't know yourself, there's one too many. So that one too many is always doubtful, doubting himself, in knowing and in not knowing. So that doubtfulness of this I will always have a preference, and the preference is not knowing, because this is like, and then the knowing, this is the I, this is so-called the I, and that what you are is the I of the I. The I. Then from there you may sing, I. That's a song of the self. I. No way out. Ooh, ay. Good. Questions about that? It's already finished today. Huh? I start with the finishing. Good. Japan, all good? Very humid, huh? So many humans, it's very humid. Everywhere. I think this humidity is... sweating.
But Karl, not everybody wants to get rid of the personal I. Some people
Of course.
are quite happy.
No.
with it. No?
Show me one.
Well, I can't show you, but I knew somebody.
It's always someone, I knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who was maybe happy.
Well, should I tell or not?
Yeah.
This was a long time ago. many moons ago. I was doing my Ananda Marga days. A fellow, he said, I don't want to become one with the Paramapurusha or with the Parabrahma. I just want to get very close.
Oh.
He didn't want to lose his individuality.
It's a safe game.
Yeah.
Then? And then he was happy?
He seemed to be fairly happy. Fairy tale, happy.
Very happy.
Very happy. So not really happy.
But I guess
very
the thing is, if you're happy in one life, in the next
you will suffer from it. Because you compare always the next life with the life before. It's even worse, and then the next life for sure is not. And everyone knows the happiness which came will be gone one day. So it's already unhappiness. There's only an experience of unhappiness and whatever. And I like it. I'm absolutely happy that I can never experience the happiness I am. And none of whatever. There was never anyone who was happy. When the moment one is happy, is already doubting his happiness. And this happiness is conditioned by whatever. Depending on understanding, depending on something. How can that be the nature of happiness? Because happiness who is depending on the absence of one is still a fake one. And thanks God, no one came ever closer to happiness. There's not a close-up. When you think you are very close to it, you are the furthest away. Ages, aeons away from what you are. The moment you think, the moment you know yourself, you are more away as you can ever imagine from what even that you cannot.
Yeah, why?
What?
Why?
Because you became a time-bound whatever entity and some
At the moment
object.
you know yourself as the small self.
Yeah, but small self is too big, and the big self is too small. Yeah, sorry.
At least that much, thank you.
Welcome. Well, I like that. That's, the smallest is too big, the nothing is too much, and everything is too less for what you are. Fantastic. There is no satisfaction in nothing, and no satisfaction in everything. Thanks God. And every satisfaction you can be by becoming nothing. This satisfaction is depending on being nothing. What kind of absolute is that? What needs to be nothing to be happy? Still a relative one, or not? Would you agree?
No idea.
No idea. That's one idea too many. No, I can just, whatever is depending on the special circumstance of absence or presence is for sure not that what is neither present or absent, and never depending on any what you can imagine or experience or anything. Yeah, but
no, I was just thinking, most people just never think about this stuff at all. You know, just
you
go
think?
on. Well,
Of course they think about it. They have just different techniques.
in what way?
They want to be happy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you want to be happy. Everyone wants to be happy, and there's just different names
Well,
of
most
happiness.
people are just swinging between pleasure and pain all their lives.
No,
Not thinking
they
about
just want to
anything
stay in
else.
pleasure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is trying
avoiding pain.
be permanent happy. That is like every seeker tries it in different ways. You want to know truths to control your happiness. Of course you try only to know truths because you think that's a key of happiness.
But someone who simply wants to be happy has no spiritual.
Yeah, but simply, there's no simply being happy. It's always the only different ideas. One is by having a good family, or the son goes to college or something, that makes them temporarily happy. Maybe, but then comes the next, who makes him very unhappy because he gives a whatever. Everyone has a different idea what makes him happy. But it's always the intention of happiness, or peace, call it whatever. I think even more peace is driving.
Perhaps avoiding pain is the main thing.
Avoiding discomfort.
Discomfort.
And discomfort is even trying to avoid pain is discomfortable. It's all discomfort. Every experience is an experience of discomfort. Thanks God and hallelujah and praise the Lord just in case that comfort cannot be experienced. So every experience is separation experience, is discomfort. Any. There is no way out of it.
If you accept the discomfort is lessened.
No, you have to be discomfort, and that what is discomfort doesn't be is in discomfort. Then there is no one who has discomfort. There is no ownership of discomfort. So by being discomfort, as I said before, being sadness, there is no one who is sad, and that's the nature of joy. Because even the nature of sadness is joy. And the nature of discomfort is joy. But being in discomfort, existing and being an experiencer in a relative experience of something is discomfort. So there's an experience of discomfort. By being the heart of discomfort, which is joy, there's nothing to do. So by being what you cannot not be, not having any idea of what you are and what you're not, so you are even that what is the nature of sadness and discomfort or comfort, whatever. And if you cannot avoid yourself anyway, if there's no way out of what you're being that what is, so what? May it be as it is. And then there's no one is concerned about if it will ever end or not. There's no beginning and no end of what you are, so there's no beginning and end of discomfort. So what? And you are that. That is Nisargada. I am that and you are that. That, finish. So you end when you are what you are. You end in that to be what is what you are. And in what you are, there was no beginning, there's no end. So it's the same as and that's the nature of shit, or then you step out of having shit, then you are shit. And that what is shit doesn't know any shit. And so the nature of shit is shit. So the nature of ignorance is it's knowledge. So you are the knowledge, and you cannot not be that. That's all. And I can just repeat it all the time. Just pointing it out, but I cannot make you that. You have?
Hey, I'm Yona. I have a question. You just said that if you think you know yourself, you're very far away from it.
Yeah, you imagine yourself far away from yourself. It's an imaginary idea, and imagination becomes your reality, and that is the case of. So you imagine yourself to exist, and then in that moment you believe in it, you left what you are. So just believing in some imaginary idea. It's amazing.
Yeah, intuitively I agree completely with it, but I have a question. Like, from what I understood, self-realization is there even if the mind is you.
The reality what you are is never interrupted. There is no doubt.
So
You're always that what you are. In the presence of ignorance or absence or imagination, there can only be one who is imagining something because you are that what is not in imagination. Final. Reality can never be interrupted. And that is your nature, for sure. That you cannot attain by anything. And you cannot lose it by anything. But by your imagination, by your almighty imagination, imagine yourself as a relative one. Shiva, believing to be a puppet, he became a puppet. It became his reality. And now he wants to get out of being a puppet. But he cannot leave the puppet because he didn't became a puppet in the first place. So whatever Shiva is now doing to become Shiva again is counterproductive. This doesn't work.
I agree again, but still my question is that if someone is aware of his reality and still
It's still one too many.
Huh?
It's one too many.
So I don't know how to call it.
Yeah, but I tell you,
There is.
if there were, this if already is a doubtful if. And reality has no doubt. So that one who is and who is not realized is all a dream realization. The one who claims that he realized his true nature has to lie. He is lying. Reality never needs to realize his true nature to be a reality, and that one who claims to be realized for sure is a false realization. Because there is one who was before unrealized, and then there is one who was realized. What kind of realization is that? Whatever is new, whatever comes, will be gone again, so it's fleeting. And reality cannot be something what is fleeting, coming and going. And new, for sure it's not new. It's neither old or new. It has to be, it was, it is, it will be, and whatever, that what you are. Uninterrupted. And it's not something what it's a new realization of your true nature. It's a silence you are, uninterrupted. And never depending on any change in the present or absent. So that what was always independent, unconditioned by anything. It's your nature now. But it will not, you cannot attain because you never left it. That's the main problem. You cannot go back to that what you never left. Fantastic, eh? But to believe you have to go back to some place, and then you make it a relative home. So whatever you enter now is a transit lounge, we call it. Transistory. Whatever you realize will be an old one, and then there comes the next realization, and the next realization. You go deeper, that's why, and deeper and deeper. But it will never be your final home.
But being in present, the mind loses its reality, so-called, like still thoughts will come and go, but you don't grab them, or what?
Yeah, but who needs not to grab thoughts? Say it. It's always me. Me then in the awareness that it should not hold on to something. Only the me needs things. Reality has no idea of anything else. There is no second in reality. There is no need of letting thoughts happen, or all of that techniques are just futile. They're just sport for the mind. There's no there's an advantage in it for the mind, but it needs one who needs an advantage. But the absolute advantage of what you are cannot be gained by it. Because the absolute advantage is not needing an advantage in anything. And that what needs an advantage has to be a phantom. So the phantom masters and the phantom awareness masters and the phantom heart masters, they always have techniques how to control life, how to control their little wellness. But who needs to be in wellness? again me. So even a no me is one me too many. There's no way out. Especially the one who promised you, I can show you a way out, and I made it. Good luck. The phantom who made it, oh my goodness. Well done. Bravo. Very nice. I was so gifted. And now I made it.
So there's no one going out.
There was no one ever in the first place who was unawakened, and out of that absence of one who is unawakened, there will not be one become awakened. Out of that absolute absence of one who was unenlightened, there will not be one who will be enlightened. There's only an idea of a phantom who claims to be unenlightened. And then maybe he claims later, now I am realized, I am enlightened. So enlightenment depends only on me. The whole idea of enlightenment is just an invention of mind.
It's a game.
No, it's a sport of consciousness, just putting a gold medal for then one, the winner. I won, I'm Aurobindo, I have all the numbers right. Bingo, the super consciousness, me.
So the desire of freedom doesn't lead anywhere.
It's pain, it's suffering. The desire for freedom is the nature. The desire for truth, the desire of happiness, even the idea is painful. It's pain. You have to pay attention. That's pain. You have to pay something for it. You have to pay with your absolute being, becoming a relative being, desiring yourself, desiring beauty, desiring truth. All that ideas coming already of one who believes in something, believes that he exists. And now it needs the key of getting out of it. Fantastic game. Huh? It will never end. This phantom consciousness will always try hard to know itself. Let it happen. Just be that what cannot get rid of it, and never needs to get rid of it, because consciousness is just merely the realization of what you are, but not what you are. So it's not different from what you are, but it's not what you are. So whatever happens in consciousness, who has something to gain in it? Is there something to lose in it? No. Does anything what happened make you more or less as you are? No. So what? He is steering until he finds gold down there. I know that steering.
I was trying to be quiet.
I know you.
That's me being quiet.
That's like a mind who tries to be quiet. He makes the biggest noise ever. That's called a meditator, because he tries to be quiet. That's a big noise in his brain. Then zum, zum, zum. Then the first mosquito comes to the next to the... I think the mosquito is more meditating than the meditator. I like mosquitoes. They always prove that meditators don't work. The moment the mosquitoes, they feel it, all the silence, all the quiet, PAM! Out of a peaceful meditator becomes a killer.
Okay, Karl.
Yeah.
The consciousness is not different from Shiva. So Shakti is not different.
Shakti is not different from, that's why it's called Shiva Shakti. But Shiva is not Shakti.
Yes, Shiva is not Shakti.
But it's not different from Shakti.
Yeah, and this, can you clarify this?
I clarified? No.
The essence of the Shakti is the Shiva, of course.
I would not say that. Even that would be too much. The essence, then you have to go further. What is the essence of the essence? And you will never reach the end of Shiva.
No, I would not ask this.
Yeah, but the moment you put up this essence word, then there comes the mind again. And that what is in the essence of the essence?
But you are talking.
No, I don't talk about that. I talk about I don't talk about essence. I talk about that, but I have no idea what it is and what it is not. If I would call it essence, then there is something different to the essence. No, I have no idea. Not knowing what you are and what you're not, I'm talking about.
So
not being the essence. I don't have to eat to be. Essen. She wants to understand it. It's legitimate, but it's all false understanding. So whatever I give you is empty. And I absolutely don't care if it's true or not what I say, but you care about it. It's the only difference here. The one and only difference. I am absolutely. If it's true or not, who fucking cares? For sure not me. I can say anything. I'm always right even when I'm totally wrong. But you want to be right, and that makes you permanent wrong.
I do not want it.
Of course you want.
No, I want just that.
I want just.
I
don't want, but I want just.
Yes,
I want to be justified.
But not right. To be right.
Justice.
Of course you want to be
want
right.
just to
I always want to be right, and I am right.
You are coming with this right and wrong.
No,
I just want to know. It's not nothing.
You want to be right.
No.
What's the difference of when you know you will be right?
I don't know.
I don't know. You are really like a tricky woman.
I am?
Yeah, you are, I know. You are presenting one.
Presenting.
No wonder the war in the sexes is so...
The woman is like the snake, is always, no, I don't want, oh, but I just want, oh no, I don't want, I just want, oh, boom, boom, boom. Always very tricky, huh? Like Eva, no, you don't have to bite, I bite first. You see me? It's not so bad, see? And the man, okay, just to have this peace, Adam, okay, I take a bite. But just trying to have this peace, it's too late. Believing that you can have your peace, and then Eve is talking with you. And always the world champion of complaining. Because you will never write for Eve. Whatever you do as Adam, you are damned that you want to please Eve. And it never will work. That's the beginning of all karmic, the law of existence. Adam who wants to please Eve. That's called evolution. It's evil from the beginning. The moment you want to please yourself, you are in hell. That's called love affair with yourself. The Shiva Shakti love affair. And then you want to please yourself. Now he only wants to fuck himself. I just want to know myself. What's wrong with it? Everything is wrong with that. Everything is wrong with that because all your discomfort comes from wanting to know yourself. That's why I call it wrong. Just be what you want to know. By being it, you are knowledge already. And that's maybe that what you can gain and you cannot own. And that is really giving you pain because I cannot own myself. But I really want to own myself. I want to know myself. That is the original sin, I think. Putting yourself in a sense that what you can sense, what you can own. By that original sin, you suffer. You want to put yourself in something what is sensible, what can be known. That is, you want to be sinner even. You want to become nothing. Sinner and sinner and sinner. Even that is a sin. It's called synology. Mr. Howard, synology. Who is lying more? Competition of liars in the Olympic game of liars. Like this Brahma and Vishnu. At least Vishnu didn't lie. So there's a liar and a non-liar. Brahma lied and Vishnu didn't lie. The end of the light of Shiva. That will come soon, in 2 weeks.
After you move?
It will be relative light on the mountain. So there's a beginning and end. So you will see the 10 days of the light of Shiva burning on the hill. And it's nice. You always know where you are. Good. Brazil, okay?
Okay. And can you tell something about unconditional hate?
It's unconditioned. That's a condition of fate. It's unconditioned. It's already there in the absolute potential of what you are. You cannot avoid it because the unconditioned, absolute being, the absolute unconditioned potential of all experiences can only experience itself in opposites. So you start to experience yourself in the opposite of hate and love. And so there's an unconditional hate experience and an unconditional love experience. And in both you realize yourself. And both is the realization of what you are. That you cannot otherwise experience yourself as in good and in bad. There will always be hell and heaven. There is no other way of realizing, because realization means there is an experience of what you are, and experiences can only happen in opposites. There will always be day and night, there will always be black and white, or whatever comes as polarity. And the main polarity is love and hate. So you experience yourself in unconditional love and unconditional hate. But both is unconditional. Both cannot be conditioned. So their nature is absolute. So there's absolute hate and absolute love. And you are the absolute hate and you are the absolute love in nature, but you are neither hate or love. So yes, you experience yourself as hate and you experience yourself as love, but by that you don't become a hater or a lover. You're always that what you are. But you can only experience yourself in opposites. And that's the way it is, if you look at it. So obviously, it's just an open secret. That the moment you know yourself, you're in the hell of knowing yourself. And the moment you don't know yourself, you're in the bliss of not knowing yourself. So both is always there. Both sides. The impersonal and the personal. In the personal, you hate to be personal. In the impersonal, you love to be impersonal. So the impersonal love and the personal hate. So whatever person says I love you, actually hates that he has to love. He hates to love or whatever. There's no other way. And that both you realize yourself what to do. And you are what you are in spite of both. That's all I can say. The rest is what?
So it's shifting all the time.
Every moment is shifting. 90% of the day you're in the impersonal. You don't even know who you are. You're only when there's a disturbance, the I comes up, the one who is disturbed. So normally, this is the second reality, like in shamanism, there's this, the first reality and the second reality. Like the first and the second, whatever. And you shift permanent. Right now there is a personal experience and an impersonal experience. Right now there is like a personal one who wants to understand and hates that he doesn't understand. And there's an impersonal understanding already. So there's an understanding and there's a non-understanding. One who understands is a relative and that is already not relative. But both comes together.
So in fact you cannot actually know yourself, because once you...
No, you cannot know yourself relatively.
Yeah, relative. Well,
you cannot know yourself absolutely, because the knowledge you are is uninterrupted. So you know yourself in spite of anything. So you cannot not know yourself. But you will never know yourself relatively. Like she wants to know herself relatively and wants to make herself known. But then it becomes like a really tense.
We were talking about the absolute pure awareness, and said that the awareness is not aware of
the awareness doesn't need awareness to be awareness.
Yeah.
And there is no one in awareness.
So in fact there is no self there.
There is neither self, no truth, no reality. There is just the nature of awareness.
So there's no knowing.
There is neither knowing or not knowing. There is a knowledge which is uninterrupted, but it cannot be owned by anyone. And that's called heart. The knowledge of the heart, which is never coming, never going, which is just your nature. The nature doesn't need his nature. That is your natural state. That is your natural state. And everything else is a realization of your natural state. But you can only realize yourself in artificial experiences. So the art, you are art, but every experience is artificial. And by no artificial experience you lose yourself or you gain yourself. So all what you experience, all included, is artificial. And be happy that art cannot be part of it. Because that what is art is hard. So what to do? So be happy that you don't need to be happy. That's the nature of happiness. Yeah.
So from what I understand, that there is no self-realization. It's just you have to drop this idea because all the time you can't realize yourself because you are it already.
You have to realize, it's like a paradox. By being what you are, you don't need to realize yourself. By being not what you are, you have to realize yourself. So you better be that what you are in nature and not that what you imagine.
I agree completely with it, but the way to realization, which is like said by Ramana, who is hanging behind you, what is meant by that?
He said
there is no one.
No, he answered the question, are you realized? This is Ramana, we take you as real. He said, that what you see now as Ramana is never realized. It's just part of realization, and that what is self is ever realized. It's that what is reality, it never needs to realize itself. So there's no new realization. So reality is permanent realizing itself, but there is no new realization in it. And there will never be anyone who is unrealized, and out of that, there is never anyone who is realized. So there is no self in it. So in that what is self, there is no self. That you may be right.
So the way is just dropping everything?
Even that is not a way. You cannot
just not dropping even not dropping.
You drop by dropping the dropping. Drop the dropping.
Okay, and then drop the dropping.
That is, yeah, no.
I mean, it doesn't end, your chain doesn't end, I'm sorry.
No, drop the dropper.
Drop the dropper and drop the dropper.
Drop the dropping, renounce renunciation.
The dropper of the dropper of the dropper.
Yeah, whatever, try harder. That is substrating what you are. You substrate everything, and the last substration is substrating the substrator. And then you are in spite of the substrator, or the absence of the substrate, or the abstractor. You abstract yourself until you are that what cannot be further abstracted.
Like the stick who will be burned by the fire.
Yeah, and that is the coolest fire, which burns everything, because this is, be cool. This is so cool, there is not even fire, because for fire, there is no fire. The nature of fire doesn't know any fire. It doesn't burn itself, it doesn't experience fire. So it's more than cool. So be cool, baby. Be what you are, and that is very cool. Because the fire is like the causes where fire comes from, never burns itself. It can never experience itself. Like the sun doesn't know any sun, and just be the sun and not the sunshine. The sunshine is not different from you, but you are not the sunshine. You are that what is shining. And you experience yourself as light, but you are not the light. So even the light of Shiva is not Shiva. So be that what, where the light is by, but you are not by the light. What to do? I just can point to it. So I can destroy what you maybe, but one has an idea what has to be done or known to be what it is, that's all. Because I can sit here and say, what would you do with it if you know yourself? Show it to someone? Go to your friends and say, oh, look, I found myself. But why people want to be enlightened? Because they want to only be enlightened to show their friends that they are better than them. It's a competition running. Who made it first? It's like in the Sangha. There was one Osho where one day he made a joke and said, 20 people you enlightened. And then they already walked around like, and already imagined what they wear for the next satsang, and what flower to buy and thing. And the next day he said, oh, I just make a joke. So it was just for fun. He blew the balloon up and then the balloon went down. Shit. And then maybe Papaji was doing the same as many of that one who he confirmed. Blowing up the balloons and they all became balloonatics. It's a question, who needs to be confirmed by a master to be what one is? Who needs that? And who needs to repeat that? And who needs to put, it's really an accident this guy is up here. I would never put him there. Here, he. I don't need a pimp behind me. I'm not a prostitute who needs to be pimped by someone. Pampered.
So it's an accident he's there?
What?
So it's an accident he's there?
Yeah, by accident, because it's unavoidable. In Germany, I sometimes sit behind in front of Osho, in front of Aurobindo, and actually I don't mind so much. If you ask me, I would just... The image even of Ramana I would destroy. I tried 10 years sitting here on the mountain trying to destroy... Maybe not that the beginning of Ramanaism would not continue, but I could not. I failed. I absolutely failed. Because everyone now believes in this form of Ramana and in his how he lived and what he's presenting and his view and his peaceful old man, and I want to be like him. For me, okay, I saw it as an obstacle, but why not? So even Ramana, when you become a devotee of Ramana, because you vote for someone who behaved like Ramana, you make Ramana a role model for existence. As if the Absolute needs to be like Ramana to be the Absolute. And he tried it too. He never made any disciple or anything. He said, I'm the I and you are the I. There is no level and don't take this as real. This is a disease walking here. This is a sickness running. He said it, but now they made a mummified sausage sitting in an ashram, and everyone runs around and thinks, when I run around the sausage, I will become enlightened. It's fantastic. I like it. It's such a joke everywhere. But what to do?
Enjoy the show.
Yeah?
Enjoy the show.
Enjoy. Yeah, it's an art exhibition. But the art you can see is not that what is art. A good piece of art destroys the viewer and the viewed in that instant. A good play, Shakespeare play, whatever, in that moment there is no audience and no actors anymore, when it really comes to that point. But that is a temporary absence then, and then it comes back again, so it doesn't work. Temporary it may work. It's like in sex, you have sex and when for 1 second you are not there. And then you want to have that second again and again.
What does it attract you to stay here in Tiru?
Me?
Yeah. Nothing?
I came 21, I am now 21 years I'm coming. Why should I change it? It's not because of need, just unavoidable. If I'm here, okay, now now I have to stay anyway. I bought a motorbike.
Have a house.
New house. I didn't buy it. I would not go so far. That would be really, I'm really stupid. I admit I'm absolutely stupid, but there are limits to my, even that. Buying a house in India, oh. Looking for trouble, but why not? If it has to happen, just paper. Buying something and then you leave it for someone else. For some Indian family you ruin everything again, but you finally made it perfect, and then family comes and in 1 year it's down. I like it. Everything is fleeting. Or not. Thanks God, huh? Imagine you had to stay in this body forever. Huh? Imagine this would be forever. Like every day, not aging anymore. Every day is the same.
Oh my God.
I mean, like that is like people want that, stopping time. There's no time, and imagine nothing ever happens. And this is really not transforming into some old age tralala.
But in a way you're saying it is forever. When you say this,
Yeah, but
you can never get out of this, right? Not
Yeah.
the body, but you can never get out of the...
You cannot get out of realizing yourself.
Yeah.
Thanks God, there's always every moment a new moment of an absolute event of your absolute nature, whatever. Everything is unique, and there's always, the next is different to that what was before. Enjoy the differences. Come on. Imagine you have to look every day, there's silence. It's like the idea of silence, like you look always in your own face in a mirror, and the face is not changing. Sometimes you close your eye, and then you open. Oh.
To make faces.
say this moment you experienced infinite time before, and you will experience infinite time after, because this moment in its nature is not coming, not going. This aspect of your absolute nature is in coming, not coming, and in going, not going. It's as absolute as you are, and the absolute is all there is.
But it's taking some form.
It doesn't take any form. The form is already there before it appears. It doesn't take any form. That is Papaji's. Nothing ever happened because nothing is ever born, nothing is ever created. As nothing is ever created, nothing can ever be destroyed.
So there are no puppets to start with. You're talking about Shiva's puppets.
No, he experienced himself as a puppet and he cannot avoid it. It's like it's part of his way of realizing.
It's just imagination, right?
Yeah, but if you call it imagination, why you bother about it then? If it's real, you cannot get rid of it, and if it's not real, you don't have to. So in both cases, just be what you are.
Yep.
That's all. There's nothing to do. If it's real, you cannot get rid of it. If it's not real, you don't have to. Final. If you can just stay in that, what is there to do? Yeah.
You can't stay there.
If you just be in that middle path of Buddha, real, nothing to do, unreal, nothing to do, okay. Then you're just that what you are, which is absolute non-doership. Nothing else can ever be done or will be done. If it's real, it cannot be done. If it's not real, it doesn't need to be done. So what? Being as you are, unaffected by anything.
But there's a trap to fall into depression, I think.
I like depression, you know me.
Yeah, I know you like it.
I love it. I love the absence of sense. The senselessness of life is my field. This is my body. This is really my body, or my body, and whatever you call it. The senselessness of all events, of all this universe, the total senselessness of existence. That's its joy. This total depression, the absence of any idea of what you are and what you're not. But the me cannot stay there, because the me will fight it. So it's a danger for the me. So the me is, I want to have some sense, I want to know myself. Oh, just maybe a little suffering is okay. Because suffering confirms that I exist. At least it's a confirmation that I am. I tell you, it's very tricky. It takes any suffering, because the sufferer needs to suffer. Without suffering, if everything is fine, he cannot survive. What would you do if there's nothing to do? What can this doer, this whatever history of the doer, do when there's nothing to do or not to do?
That's the question.
Can he continue his story? No. There's only a story. His story can only continue in his doing or not doing. That he can do or not do something. So be generous, because you can be generous. The phantom will always find a trick to make it. And I can tell the phantom, don't worry, there will always be the problem that there is no problem. Don't worry. Or worry, because worries don't end. As you don't end. Because if you could end, you would be real. So if really suffering would be real and it could end, it would be real. Imagine just hope, and one who claims that he had suffering, he made suffering real. Just by that he claims he ended it. Imagine. He confirms that there is suffering because he ended suffering. And then he is always in a limbo because he thinks it can start again, because what can end can start again maybe. So he makes it even more real when he ended it, when it's not there anymore.
But maybe it's not a question of ending the suffering,
but
realizing that there is no suffering in the first place.
But this is part of the me becoming like a realized one. Then it's a real lie. I'm a real lie. Then you become like Osho. Perfection. Realized person. There's a snake.
Enough.
The day of my enlightenment. Of hundreds of years of suffering and praying meditation, and then I finally give up meditation. I finally give up looking for myself, and then it happened. I listened to that tape. I was totally amazed.
It's pretty bad.
Absolute amazement. And it was actually, I think it was the same moment he was enlightened when I was made. I counted because it was 53, mid of March, 20 or 21 of March, and I'm born in 12th of December, so it fits. When I came into, he became enlightened. There was a window in the universe, a loophole, like a star, a comet, boom! So you can make a story out of everything. When I came, Ramana died 51? 50, and then he took some tour, and then the cosmic consciousness happened again.
Oh, you know, in
What?
Russia they say that you are reincarnation of Ramana.
No.
Many
The thing I tell you, I have to go to Russia again to make something clear. That goes too far. That would be... No, then I would be trapped. I have to walk around in Memphis and I have to be peaceful. No, I don't go for that. But I wasn't fun. No. I'm slightly. Like Nisargadatta said, I'm slightly better dressed. That would be a reincarnation. But in that sense, you're all like an imagination of that, what is Ramana. So in that sense, there's nothing new. Even Ramana was an imagination of Ramana. Rum. Good.
Nice is to say Karl is the embodiment of Osho's heart chakra.
Yeah. Someone called me the shadow of Tolle.
He's the best.
And I still allow her to be here. The biggest offense ever. The embodiment of the heart chakra of Osho. Chakra Khan. That's really like a... Where's my laughing gas? This tooth is hurting. I need laughing gas. It has to be outrooted. I need some root treatment. Again. The tooth grow again. Osho, he took all his teeth out when he was 40 or something because he was fed up with tooth pain. He was radical in his solutions. But then he could not find any teeth anymore, so he had to tease everybody else. He was teasing. But imagine you have no, then you wake up without tooth, and then you have a fake one, and then you need laughing gas all the time. Kaptagon.
Did you send him?
Who?
This young man.
Yeah, he's funny.
Well, he's desperate for me to ask a question.
Yeah, what question?
I don't know what question. I told him I don't know. I had to ask a question.
Come here.
No, I asked him.
What kind of question?
No, he wants me to ask a question, but I can't think of one.
Ah. It's funny, yeah?
And he wants to know why I can't think of a question. No,
He only gives answers, that's his problem.
I'm trying to answer, not to question. I'll do the questioning and give the answers. So fuck off if you want to.
Now he has his problems, the answer's coming, but he doesn't find the question anymore.
Yeah, what's the question?
Before it was the opposite.
What's the question?
It's never right. Even if you have all the answers, you're looking for the question. If you're full of questions, you're looking for the answer. Wow, just changing. Or you're looking for people who have questions, because you have so many answers. Maybe that's the only reason I'm sitting here. I have so many answers. Come on, have some questions.
There seems to be just, like in consciousness itself, there seems to be always a total unanswerable question, like what is this? Just what
No,
is this?
who am I? That's
That's something else.
No, that's it. It cannot be answered. That's why it's the absence of the answer who kills you.
Yeah.
Not like you are the answer, because many people is really make it really absolutely wrong. Who am I? Because they become the answer of the question.
Yeah, there's no answer.
Who am I? And then I.
Because
who am I?
Yeah.
I. Who am I? I. No, who am I? And then there's the absolute not knowing.
Because it points to the infinite.
No, it doesn't point. It's just you are the answer to the question, but you are not the relative answer as I.
Yeah.
But all the people whatever doing it, who am I? I. Who am I? I. Who am I? Yeah, but Buddha who asked me the proper way of who am I is who am I? And then there is absolute not knowing. But not then I. Or who am I? I. No, there's an unpronounced absolute not knowing. That's all. There's no pronouncer in that answer. There's no one who then says, I am realized now. There's a reality which is not knowing what it is and what is not, but there is not an I who then knows what the I is. So you are not the answer to your question. That what you are is the answer to your question, but that what you are never knows what it is and what it is not. So it's a total absence of any presence, of any absence of presence of one who knows or doesn't know anything. But not then the absolute presence, me. So good.
Carl,
Yeah.
what is existential fear?
Existential fear? That the moment you know yourself, you exist and then there's fear instantly. That is existential fear which comes with the false evidence that you may exist or not. This doubtful I, who may or may not exist. So that knowing or not knowing, when you are that what knows or doesn't know, that's already is creating fear. False evidence appearing real, that's called fear. So the false experience of existence creates false fear. The false creating false. That's him again. The false I creating a false idea of doubtful I, and out of the doubtfulness of I, fear arises. And then you want to end fear, but as more you want to end fear, you confirm that there is one who has to end fear. It's such a perfect trap.
Mine is so tricky.
It can only be invented by the Absolute himself. No one, only the Absolute intellect, the Absolute intelligence, which is the Absolute himself, can come up with such a perfect trap for himself. And you cannot step into that trap. Maybe then there are some awareness masters, they don't step into the trap anymore, but that is the next trap. No way out. Yeah.
This question is gone?
As a question, the question remains even if the questioner is gone. That's the whole problem. No, but what is his question?
His question was, why did Ramana meditate?
He didn't meditate ever.
Ramana didn't.
He just lay down and died. He just let die whatever can die and remains at that what is never. But just spontaneously, whatever, out of the blue, as everything comes out of the blue, he just faced himself with is what I am has any. Will there be any consequence if this body is gone? No. If there is any consequence for what I am if spirit is gone? If there is any consequence if light is out? No. I remain as what I am. That is a dead experience. That what you are is never depending on any dead experience. So whatever you experience is dead. So that is a dead experience. That's all. That he was just... But then the people asked him, why, but you didn't make any who am I, you never made meditation. Why you now give us this techniques and so you I don't know, maybe I had lifetimes before I made it. Maybe it just I was just ready but not knowing why. Who knows? So just in case you may meditate still. You never know. If I say praise the Lord, just in case there is one. You never know. Just in case, because whatever you do is just in case anyway. Just in case it may or may not work. Just in case. That is consciousness game. Just in case. Just in case there is some place where I find myself. Just in case there is I find home. Just in case. No one knows anything, but just in case. Not Justin Bieber. What a fake, huh? Eli. Good. That's... No, like the accident why renunciation of renunciation appeared. You know that story or not? How Ramana came up with that renouncing the renouncing? Renunciation of renunciation? You know, he didn't invent it, he had to make it because otherwise they would have taken his ashram. He had to defend his ashram because they wanted to take away from him because he was a sadhu, and sadhus are not allowed to own anything. Sadhus renounce the world, so sadhus are not allowed to own something. So he had to go to a court case. And then the judge, I'm you a sadhu. No, I even renounced renunciation. I can own again, whatever, it doesn't matter. I cannot renounce myself, so I even renounced renunciation. I renounce the renouncer by being what I am. So it came into place by an accident, just because he had to defend his ashram, and then it became his biggest pointer. Fantastic. So it's not invented by him, existence invented it by circumstance. The circumstance asked for it. And then it became like a biggest pointer of all time, of Ramana. Renunciation of renunciation. That is what is asked. By being what you are, you renounce anything.
He said for many, many years in Virupaksham Skanda.
Because you didn't want to see anybody, because if it would be helped, I would do the same.
Yeah,
but not for any other reason.
Yes, but people translate it as meditation, but
he was not meditating, he was just hiding from his blood disciples. And I agree, I would hide too. Hide away. Meditating. He was asked, why did you sit in the temple in the ashram and thing? He said, why should I know? You made up something. Whatever you make up is fine, but I don't have to know why I've done. Because after that experience, nothing ever happened anyway.
Okay, nothing happened.
No, but everyone will make something up because he was sitting for meditation. Because if you believe in meditation, you make him a meditator.
Yes.
If you believe that he is, you make him something. So you imagine him that he needed something.
Yeah,
but he not.
Out of the imagination.
Because you imagine that something has to happen for him, so for him something happened because that is your last hope. Because if he didn't need to sit down and meditate, you don't need to sit down and meditate. But that is too much for you.
He told also when he was sick, when he was down.
It always sounds like as you were there.
That is what I read.
Yeah, but you think that is true?
You talk with the same?
No, I talk out of what is Ramana. I don't talk about Ramana, what he said. I say something, I don't say Ramana said.
But when you talk
not
about
there is no
life,
but. There was no his life. I know him better than anyone else. I'm always right. Anyway. And David Gottman has a different point of view. So what did he say? Or what he may have said?
Yeah, it's better. So I have nothing to say.
Yeah, what is black on white is a lie anyway. Whatever can be written down is a lie anyway. It's like the whole IMZ, Rizagada said it's all bullshit. I said half of it, but the half I really meant they just dropped because they believed no one would understand that. So they just make it digestible for people.
What was the other half?
You have to listen to the tapes. And people in Bombay, they listen to the total tapes of that time. They say, he never said this and this and that and that. He said it in one sentence, but the next sentence he destroyed it again. This is what Ramana was doing permanent too. He said, yes, you can meditate, you can reach something, but by all of that what you have done and meditated and you can reach, you cannot attain what you are. And all of that they missed. Because that's maybe not good for meditators, that's not good for seekers, because that takes them the hope away, and I need hope, the translator needs hope, the publisher needs hope for selling something. So what is the publisher? If a publisher says you don't need to read this book, it's all bullshit anyway. you have to create some hope to sell something. It's business. And the translator always knows better as the one who said something, what he meant. And people who know that, they listen to the tapes and the translators, even Balzaka or the other ones, they always made it digestible for the so-called disciples. Because they think that they're not ready for it. I have to say it in a different way, that they maybe can digest it and then coming back. If I translate it as he meant it, maybe no one will come back tomorrow. So there's a fear, even a translator, because it's a translator. It doesn't talk out of trance, it's too late. It's a translator. And you cannot put the translator. The trance is not even in the now, so where it comes from. The later one.
I remember he sometimes told people to read I Am That. Some newcomers, he said, go and read I Am That.
And then you come back, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we can talk about it. What bullshit I said then. No, I liked the I Am That because of the I Am That I went to Bombay to the successor.
Yeah.
But then I saw the successor and I was not so impressed.
Ramesh.
Yeah. Of course he was even claiming that he went beyond Nisargata and now his teaching was more precise and more clear and whatever. I said, what is he talking about? What teaching? What teaching has to be clear and whatever, what is then clarity has something to do with reality or something? What is he talking about? And all this God's will, I say, God's willy? What's God's willy? God has a willy and the willy has a will? Willy the will? Or what is he talking about? But it's fine. So 3 days, 4 days I was there and then he always pointed to Ramana and the bloody mountain. He said, this is my main influence. I said, why I'm sitting here if I just go to his main influence? So then I booked the flight to this bloody Arunachala. People will ask me why you're here, because this is the main influence. And I'm very much influenced. Or whatever. So I rather go to where they're influenced by and not who is influenced. The main one.
Source.
Yeah, that's what is creating everything. So you better go beyond that creator, which is even created by that. So that's what is influence, but not having any influence. So the mountain is a pointer of being influenced, but it has no influence because it's just bloody sitting there as a mountain and doesn't care about anyone. This carelessness is actually for many people unbearable. They want the mountain to care. They all blame the mountain. The mountain is guilty, the mountain did it, and blah, blah, blah. Fantastic. So what would they do without the mountain? They have to take responsibility. That would be too much. So it's very comfortable to sit here. Around the mountain takes care of me. I go to the toilet when the mountain wants me to go to the toilet. I pee in my trousers if I have to pee in my trousers. I pee where I am when the mountain wants me to be. I stink because the mountain wants me to stink. I don't take a shower because the mountain doesn't want me clean. The sadhus are making all of that. It's all God's will. Does it make it bearable? It still stinks, huh? Yeah. So what to do? Excusez-moi. Excusez-montagne. Le grand excusez-montagne. Montana. Tour de Montana. Actually, the Germans, we have a guy in the 50s, he called Louis Trenker. He always sing and he always says mountain coats. And they always looked, well, what bloody mountain was that? He always talked about the Himalaya, the Alps. He was a mountain climber and he always says, the mountain calls you. Okay.
That was one movie, and it made such impression, isn't it, in the mind of the...
No, it was every Saturday afternoon. He was sitting in German television, having 1 hour of his program, talking about climbing mountains and things, and make movies. And he always, the title of the program was Der Berg ruft. The mountain is calling. What bloody mountain is that?
What is it in our experience that would distinguish Arunachala from any other apparent mountain?
No, I like the story. Kailash is the home, and Arunachala is the light of Shiva.
The body.
The embodiment and the home. Sounds good.
So what is that?
What is that? Ask the mountain. Hey!
He doesn't say anything.
But that is the answer. That's the answer of what is a mountain. The mountain.
Yeah.
That what is a mountain is that what is a mountain. And the silence of the mountain is the answer of the question, what is a mountain? So that's why you're sitting here, because the mountain doesn't mind to be a mountain. And doesn't need to know to be a mountain to be a mountain. And so be that what doesn't need to know to be what it is, to be what it is. That's already okay.
I remember Raman when he says that to someone, the same power that brought you to this mountain will do its own work, so you can
It did already all the work, so you never did anything in the first place, so just let it continue, doing the work. Just be laziness itself, because that is your natural state. The laziness, because no one is ever more lazy than that what is a yani, who doesn't need to know a yani to be a yani. That's the laziness of a yani, because that is yana. So when you are yana, you are that what is a yani, who doesn't need to know a yani to be a yani. And whoever claims to be yani, you can doubt as a yani. That's just all what they say about it. So the one who claims to be realized, reality would never claim to be reality. Never needs to claim anything.
So why did people at a certain point in Ramana's embodiment or whatever, they started to call him Bhagavan and treat him as the absolute self? What happened there? They recognized something. He didn't.
No,
he didn't declare anything.
Actually, they didn't recognize anything, and that was their recognition.
Okay.
They recognize that nothing will ever be nice enough. That is a symbol of Ramana. You can just be as you are in whatever given circumstance, and they recognize that flavor of carelessness, and then they call it Bhagavan. That's what is the nature of God. The carelessness of the natural state of being. Like, look, walking around like that is really, if you would care that someone looks at you, would not work. Huh? Would it? So what to do? No, he was he was like a pointer. Pointing always to that what never needs a pointer. Just paradox, walking. Like a paradox being there. The one who is there but who doesn't need to be there.
But I mean, people didn't come and worship some other sadhus who were sitting on the mountain. It seemed that they were drawn to that presence.
No, they worshipped themselves in him. They didn't worship Brahman. They worshipped themselves into him.
The self, yes.
That's all. So that was self-recognition.
But that could be in anyone.
No.
Why not? Why not special?
Because in your neighbor you cannot do that.
In
your neighbor you cannot find yourself. Because he fucked your wife. Because Ramana never fucked anyone's wife, so you could recognize yourself in him.
As far as you know.
Huh?
As far as you know.
They claim. Otherwise you would not be mummified if you would have sex before. I trust existence. No, it's like whatever. You see the carelessness and you experience yourself in the presence of him, and then you appreciate that more than anything else, and then you worship that yourself. That is the nature of puja. That every puja is worshiping yourself. Shiva in his self-recognition. And that there is one who never gives you anything, nothing takes from you, nothing gives to you, and leaves you as you are. That acceptance you appreciate more than anything else. That to be that one who never needs to be appreciated by anyone, and never appreciates you. And that absence of appreciation, you can breathe as you are, and not depending on some attention from some relative, whatever master or anything. That is a Sadguru who never appreciates anyone, and never needs to be appreciated by anyone. And that you adore more, you treasure more than anything else. So by treasuring him, you treasure yourself, as that what is up to in itself never needs to be appreciated by anyone, not even by himself. And he is a symbol of that. But now they make him a role model, like a separate entity, and then they don't appreciate themselves in him, they appreciate just nearly an image of him. That I tried when I started to cut it, but it was impossible. The Ramanaism is unlike Jesus. He would never be a Christian. I think it's impossible. Like Buddha would never become a Buddhist. I think it would kill Buddhism right away. And Christ would just kill Christianity. But look what comes out of it. Now Ramana would never allow Ramanaism, but now the disciples make Ramanaism. So many devotees, so many around the world, he becomes a symbol of like a new Christ or something. So now it's called Ramanaism. The religion of Ramana, and his words are holy, holy, holy. And you have to follow the way of this guy and whatever he said, and the high priest of Ramana making books about him and making his image higher.
He made him an object.
Yeah, they make an object like a golden calf. Until Moses comes back again and destroys the calf. The holy object like a what's called ein Götzenbild. What is the English word for it? Götze. You're imagining God as someone. Like in German it's a really nice word for it. Götzenbild. And it's like merely you actually offend yourself by making yourself an image. Like it's an offense. It's like you are fearful, like this Israelian when Moses was, and then he came back and then he had this golden calf and praying to him, because they think they can be helped.
That's why he made the second commandment: you should have no image.
And Allah too.
Allah especially.
Allah especially. Whatever you make Allah, 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 you will be...
Juggernaut.
The what?
Juggernaut is the word for it.
Juggernaut. Maybe. Yeah, juggernauts. Exactly. That's the god, the gods from the imaginary heaven. The gods. Juggernaut. Yeah.
It's the Lord of the universe.
Like Odin, Wotan, all that.
Im Islam gibt es keine Fotos zum Beispiel von Mohammed, um das zu vermeiden.
No, from Allah. Mohammed their pictures. I think. They make paintings.
No, you're not allowed to.
Not even Mohammed.
No.
Okay. But the Christians, they hang their Christ everywhere. And if you cannot hang everywhere, then
you can make movies, everything.
The Passion of Christ. Sounds good. Good. Now some question?
No.
No?
No.
Wow. You're from
Germany.
Germany too? Wow. We saw us before?
No.
No?
It's the second time, yes?
Yeah, I mean, like, not before.
No.
Everyone looks so familiar. Especially when they're German.
Oh.
And it's okay in English? Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
So, something else? From the juggernauts? Because believing in yourself, you make yourself a juggernaut. And then you want to rule the world in your imaginary God feeling. I am no better than God himself. Our existence has to be run. Me. The devil himself. And then you become the beast, the 666. But you are the 999. In German it's 999. And the beast means 666. 999. I like numerology. It's like really like the 6 is like has a hook in the heaven, and the 9 has a hook in the world. And both together are 8, which are neither there or there. That's the infinite sign, the 0. Because the 0, just a bit bent, becomes an 8. And the 0, look from that side, is a 1. So the whole number, 108, is just 0. Look from a different angle.
There are nice t-shirts with the printing 665, neighbor of the beast.
The neighbor of the beast. Next to the beach. Where the beach.
No, in England with 999 we call the police.
Yeah? In Germany it's 110. 110. So, something more? No? No? Good. Spain? No? Something from the back? No.
Turkey.
Huh?
Turkey.
In German?
Turkey.
In Turkish?
Yes.
In Turkish, I like Turkish.
Ich kann auch auf Türkisch die Frage stellen, aber...
Yeah, I give you the answer, you ask the Turkish question, I give you an English answer.
Ich beobachte immer wieder, auch bei deinen Zusammenkünften hier, dass Menschen kommen und das nicht aufnehmen können und ziemlich erschreckt wieder weggehen und nie wieder kommen.
Yeah, it's many, no, they come back, but later.
Ja.
People come and they're a bit shocked what I say, and then they just have to digest it for a long time sometimes. And later on they come back and then they relax. Then they can be quiet and just listen. But first it's really like, oh, what an asshole. What an arrogant asshole. Who does he think to be? Oh, no. I have many times here, they're coming, there was a French lady sitting there and from the first moment, you have to open your heart. You have to open your heart. So just listen first here, and it hurts. Listen to you. You have to open your heart. She could not stop it. You have to open your heart. I said, shut up. It hurts. I hate French people anyway. It hurts. So after 15 minutes, I say, you better go now. Pack. And then another one, you always do that if you don't like people saying something. Oh, you all people all like that. You too. And that time there was Vishnamritra, and they just he lets them out. So it was my Israeli bodyguards. And then 2 years later, she came and sat down and just listening for a long time. Then she was okay. Now she says even hi. No, I give the message, and then for sure there has to be like a time of digestion first. And then you check it out. And then you go to many other teachers and sing whatever, and then you get it. You feel it becomes very heavy when they teach you something, and you have to learn, and they're always like, but you have to do, and you get more and more tired and fed up with this, but you have to, oh, I have to. And you have to open your heart again. And after a while, maybe it was not so bad this time. He just let me be as I am, and I can be the absolute asshole because you always will be a bigger asshole than me, so I can be the asshole I am. And he talks so dirty, and I can be just as I am because I think dirty, but I try to speak not that way. So this filter maybe slowly goes, who cares, something. Then you relax in that, whatever, and then suddenly it's not so bad. But first you have the message, and you cannot agree with it because it's unbearable. It's not, you are full of hope, you think there has to be done something has to be changed, because all what you read and sing, you are always imagining something has to be different, you have to have an open heart, all that concept you come with, and I just, and then, no, I cannot be all for nothing. All my precious insights, all my precious whatever, all my nice readings at night, and all that things, and when I opened the book, it was all the right page I read. No, it cannot all be for nothing. No, that cannot be. So then you go home, but after a while, okay, maybe it's not so bad if I were all for nothing. Maybe it's not so bad, but whatever. And then you may be ready again. And then you enjoy it, because then you don't listen anymore for what I say, and then you can enjoy it. Then you just let him talk. It doesn't matter what he says. Then you're just in this carelessness. And then you enjoy the carelessness, not knowing why you enjoy it. But there's enjoying that what is the living words, they call it, which give a damn what they say. It's like the empty words becoming such enjoyable. This emptiness is such a joy of this emptiness of words and where they come from. It's fantastic. But as you said, in the beginning, they, oh no, fuck him, no, I never will go back to that guy. No. I hate him. Huh? Many had that. I always did it when there was Muchi talks. Here he was hugging, loving, tralala, and all these girls and things. And then in the afternoon I had talks in the Shiva, next to Shiva Shakti in the rooftop. And then they came sometimes in the afternoon or whatever when there was a pause in the silence retreat of Muchi. Then they're sitting there, 20, 30 people, all for Muchi, and then I started talking dirty. And so much bullshit. And fuck the heart, and saying, oh, fuck, shit, bomb. 10 minutes later, one by one went. And when all of them were gone, I started talking. just to make it unbearable for the loving, hugging, open heart people. Because they're not, I'm not fishing for them, for sure not.
You sorted out the sheep from the goats.
Yeah, just by being as dirty and nasty I could be, just, no, this is too much. To make it unbearable. And only that one remains who cannot help it anyway. I like only people who cannot help to be here. This helplessness I'm talking to, not to one who can decide to be here or not, who likes it or not. I give a shit about people I have to please to be here. I like people who cannot otherwise are sitting here. And not by their choice, by believing that they can decide what they like and I go to that place where I like to be. No, you have to be in spite of liking or not liking to be here, not because of anything. This helplessness is already, and then you may relax in that helplessness, but not because I'm pleasing you or I give you some more, whatever I can give is not the truth anyway. So more and more you try to enjoy that nothing can be given or taken away from you, and then you just come, but you don't know why anymore. Just the why not left is left. Why not? So you enjoy more and more that there's no one who tells you how you have to be. Actually, that's the only I can point to. So, something else?
Das, was ich hier wirklich bin, was das auch immer sei, krieg nicht genug davon, oder beziehungsweise sagt jedes Mal, egal was du sagst, ja, ja, ja.
Yeah,
mehr,
but,
mehr,
but,
mehr.
but that, you know, he says that what he doesn't know what it is, but that is always a silent yes to what I say. That's just an agreeing to everything what comes, not knowing why. That's the nature of living worlds, because life doesn't need to know why life is living. And then whatever life is saying to that what is life, there's an absolute harmony in it. In that harmony there's a total agreement. Okay. So there's an acceptance who talks to acceptance, but not knowing why there is acceptance. And there is a knowledge who knows to knowledge, who not knowing why it's acknowledging it. It's just acknowledging itself. Not needing anything to know or not to know to be what it is. So it's yes. There's not a yes which is depending on agreeing. It's just yes. Okay. But if it's not, it's okay too. Okay, okay. Or okie dokie. So in that sense I can offend and not offend. I really try to offend people as much as I can. But that's what you are, let's try harder. He even enjoys to try, but there is one who tries to offend, because what you are can never be offended by anything. That's the beauty of your nature. There's no offense from anything. That what can be offended, I really like to offend. With all my heart. Which I have not have. So it's a problem, I have no heart. But with all my heart, I offend everyone. Heartily. Often. I like often. Offensive.
Nein. Nur schlechter.
You put the Hansel and Gretel put in the oven. It's an offensive. Good. Woo!
Also yesterday, when you spoke to me, I think it was really good.
Yeah? Okay, stay yesterday. No. Sometimes I'm surprised myself. Think, oh shit, that was not so bad. Not good enough. If it would be good enough, you would not even remember it. Shit, I failed again. But I try my best. It's all try and error. That's the whole existence is trial and error. You try very hard, but you fail. It will always be an error. Whatever you come up with is an error. Error. But I try again. Next one. Error. Missed again. Oh. When I sit here, I enjoy the missing. Missed in action. Good. Dum, 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 dum. 20 minutes. I have still some nuts, so I have something to do meanwhile.
Womit hat es eigentlich nichts zu tun, dass manche Menschen gleich gehen? Ist das eine Reifungsgrad?
No,
was eigentlich?
Why do people right away go away when they come? They say that's survival system running. Überlebenstechnik.
Was ist das?
Ja, Überleben. They have to survive. They have to. Otherwise, they cannot remain the ego they believe in. So they smell the danger maybe, and then they run away. So it's a compliment. Whoever runs away is a compliment I take very easily.
So we are egoless.
What? No, as I said, you have no other choice. That's why. Not because you didn't. You may. There's a tendency maybe of trying to run away, but you
feel really good I didn't go.
So you're not a compliment for me.
I'm so sorry.
No, if I really would not fail, if after 2 hours no one should come back at all. So whoever comes back to me, listens again, I fail. Strange, but actually I enjoy failing as much because I will never succeed. So that would be really succeeding in talking to you that no one comes back. But I even offended this Greek guy once. I made a nice wish and I told him, I hope I never see you again. And he said he really took it personal. But what I mean with this, like, when you come, I hope there is no one coming. So if I see you next time, I hope I don't see you. But he thought I really was not liking me anymore. And then he was really pissed. So out of this good wish, like a good intention, you take it wrong, for sure. Wrong taking. But then I liked it, that he really took it really personal. Because once he made like a homepage like you did for me in German, he did in the English one, and then he cancelled everything. One day before, on his phone, he praised me in the heaven, and he said, oh, I had this meeting 2 hours with Karl, and it was amazing, and I was so energetic afterward, blah, blah, blah. And the next day, my birthday, I told him for goodbye, I hope I never see you again. And the next day, he cancelled the whole homepage. So first he put you into heaven, like the thing, and the next day he put you like, he never is fake and blah, and it's like, bull. I like it. So I never trust any disciple. And thanks God I don't have to trust them anyway. Because I have no disciples anyway. No one claims to be a disciple of me. They're all afraid that they have no friends anymore. How can you be? That's not. No, I would not be a disciple of this guy. Kill me. Good. So in that sense.
Wenn das Ich eine Erscheinung ist und
I don't say that.
Das Ich ist, ich meine, das was wir hier sehen, ist das ja eine Erscheinung, diese Körper. Nein?
No, I have no idea.
Nein, das meine ich.
Yeah, you say that.
Yes, yes.
But you already said when this, you take it as granted that it is only an appearance. I have no idea if it's an appearance or real or not real.
Ich formuliere jetzt meine Frage einfach mal,
Okay.
dass so ich es verstanden habe. Und, diese Erscheinung eine Illusion ist, sage ich mal so. Und du hast ja vorhin gesagt, das ist eine Überlebenstechnik. Wessen Überlebenstechnik ist das, wenn wir alle eigentlich Illusion sind?
Who needs to survive if everything is an illusion or an appearance? Yeah, the doubtful appearance needs to survive in appearances, so he fights very hard to be real. The unreal always tries to become real. That's what he's trying, because it feels to be unreal, so he needs reality. So even it invents the idea of reality and tries to become real, because it's unreal. And only the unreal tries to become real. Reality doesn't even know what is reality, what is real and unreal. So the unreal, trying to become real, trying to survive. Always trying to make whatever. You now experience yourself in an experience, like an imagination, you try to become not an imagination, you try to become real. That's the nature of the phantom, which is unreal, it tries to become real, infinite. But already consciousness is unreal. Even consciousness is unreal, so the unreal tries to become real. The realization tries to become reality. But I sit here and tell realization, you already said what is reality, you don't have to try it. There's nothing to worry, don't fear, because you already said what you're looking for. But I can say it all the time, doesn't work. So you will never become what you are because you're already what you are. I can repeat it infinitely. You cannot attain what you are because you are not a relative object of time. So be happy that you cannot attain yourself. And whatever you can attain is a false self. Already you attained a false self, now you want to make out of your real self another attainable false self. It doesn't work.
Maybe it's a better false self.
Yeah, that's why I say maybe you have a better false self, like an awareness self. Maybe a better self, but what self needs to be better? Me again. So that you are not, that you cannot get satisfied, it's satisfaction. It's a satisfaction for your permanent, because that confirms that there is one who is not satisfied. In satisfaction you cannot exist, so you fight for non-satisfaction. It's a tricky thing. The ignorant one can only survive in ignorance. So in that, whatever you try to do is avoiding knowledge. Everything you do, even trying to know knowledge, even to gain knowledge, it's avoiding it. The permanent avoidance because in what you are, in the nature of existence, you don't exist. You cannot remain as the idea of you in that what is not allowing any idea. Like Jesus said, if you want to join the kingdom of life or the kingdom of heart, you have to come as you are. Absolutely not knowing what you are and what you're not. If there's any ownership left, no owner will ever enter the kingdom of heart. So as long as there is one who owns an idea about himself, has any idea of what he is, owns anything, my life, my soul, my consciousness, my existence, myself, he will never enter the kingdom of heart. The kingdom of heart, or the Tao would say, in the absolute unknowing of yourself, you enter the unknowable, but not by any knowing. That's called unknowable. Then you are the noble itself. You get the Nobel Prize for that. Because you're the prize for all your being, and only you can satisfy you. Absolutely. Nothing else will satisfy you as you satisfy yourself. Just by being that what never needs any satisfaction by anything. Just by that what never needs or doesn't need anything to be what it is. That satisfaction is uncomparable with anything you can imagine. And only that is the rest. What never needs any rest in anything. So rest in that what never needs to rest in anything. That what needs to rest in whatever, in knowledge, in things, in truth, and beauty. Okay, why not let it make its phantom attempt? But it will never succeed, it will always be a temporary blah blah blah. So rest in that what is your nature, and your natural state doesn't need a natural state to be what it is. So nature never needs to know nature to be what it is. And that what needs to know nature is artificial. So let the artificial be artificial and just be what you are. And these are merely pointers, because by that you will not become it, but I just can point out what you are not.
So there is no real effort in it, so far I understand.
No, there's a dream effort, but dream efforts only lead to dream results.
So dropping the dropper. But still we put effort to come here and we put effort to talk to us.
No, that what places the universe, that was imagining the universe, is imagining you, or you being placed by the same where that what imagines the universe. So it was never you are placing yourself here. You cannot avoid sitting here. It's like a reference point of the self, like a reference point, like a relative camera position from this body-mind organism experiencing itself. And this, whatever is the eye of God, has infinite reference points and different cameras looking from all angles into itself. So that what is an absolute perception, perceiving whatever can be perceived out of infinite angles. This God particle, they call it, like the scientists know, you cannot find it in any special place, but you cannot not find it because it's that what is. That's the nature of energy or the nature of consciousness, can never be trapped somewhere, can never be placed in this, there's more here and less there or something.
And why talking about it? And why do we talk about it?
For entertainment. It's sport. Why not? This why not is the only answer to all questions. Because all the questions are variations of why. And the answer is always why not. Sitting here, talking or not talking, does it make you more or less as you are? No. So you cannot, but you cannot not experience yourself, as you cannot realize yourself as sitting here and listening, so you may enjoy it. Your reality realizing itself, even as that. This barking the last days, it's I'm energetic, the bitch woke up. Now it's barking. Some hot stuff happens. The heat. No, all of that is what you are, what is there. And even sitting here looking from this position, talking, listening, all of that. You cannot find what you are not in that sense, but it's very hard to stay in that, recognizing yourself, because it's depending on self-recognition. And so I point to that what never needs to recognize itself to be itself. So that what is with and without self-recognition, what it is. Because that what is now recognizing itself in everything, in that oneness, is depending on that recognition. But that what is the absolute Parabrahman doesn't need that. So it is in self-recognition and in not self-recognition what it is. So it's both is just different ways of experiencing yourself or realizing yourself, but they don't make a difference. They are different, but they don't make a difference. That's all. So I don't deny differences at all, but I deny that they have an influence on you. They never leave any stain on your nature. They never do. They never can condition you. It's confirmation banging. So I don't deny that you realize yourself, and I tell you have to realize yourself. But as the word says, they are real lies. Realization. And you are the liar, the lying what you lie. This trinity of a liar lying to himself. And then you rely on that liar. No, you don't rely on that liar. You cannot get rid of him, that's all. Because the moment you are aware that you exist, you lie to yourself. So see the lie as a lie and be that what doesn't even know what is not a lie. So it's einerlei. It's a nice German word, huh? You cannot translate it in a way. What is that something?
Einerlei. Indifference?
Yeah. Undecided, indifferent. It's a song of indifference, tralala. the Ribut Gita, the Advaita Gita, the Gita, an Hintergittern. You are Hintergittern wie vor den Gittern. Even in German it works. Gitter. Imprisoned. Trying to break free, that's really the real prison. You will always be imprisoned by what you are. And you are the absolute prisoner of yourself. And you are the prison and the imprisoned one and all you can imagine. And you cannot get free from yourself. So you will be ever, forever and ever imprisoned, being that what is reality has to realize itself as whatever it has to realize itself.
Can't Shiva just flick the off switch?
If he could, he would.
Really?
If he would already have done it. Did you read the Mahabharata, Krishna? He said, me as the Almighty script writer, the blueprint is done. I cannot change my own blueprint. What can I do? So it doesn't belong to me, whatever. It has to be done. I cannot change what is done before it even appears. No, I just can repeat the Mahabharata. We can talk in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaga, 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 the Bhagan and Bhagan and the truth. And
It's forever, because it implies time or something. What do you mean forever?
What?
You say this will go on forever.
Yeah, forever means, like, the infinite means forever means this moment, like if the chicken and the egg. This egg is the egg of the chicken of the moment before. So the moment before created this egg. But actually this egg, out of this egg comes the chicken. So the nature of the chicken is not different from the nature of the egg. So this action, we say the egg is the reaction of this action, but this action as a reaction is then the action of, and the reaction would be the chicken. So actually the kid, the baby of the mother is the mother of the mother. Because out of that baby, at the end, comes the mother again. Who has a baby, and out of the baby comes the mother again. This is the loop, the infinite loop. So this moment is the reaction of the moment before, but this reaction is the action of the reaction which was the action of this reaction. So the chicken is the baby of the egg, and the egg is the mother of the chicken.
So the realization is just infinite.
It's just a block of unmovable manifestation of that what you are. And it's already manifested before it's manifested itself in its potential. If you say it is already there before, the moment is already there before it appears, because it was in the absolute potential already present.
What do you mean before?
Yeah, before you experience the next moment, it's there as a potential. It's the absolute potential of all the futures which ends in this moment. So this moment is the potential of all future and past moments. And it's already fixed. So this moment decides of all following moments and decided of all moments before. Because this moment was, that moment can be and is as it is. All the past had to be as the past was. And this moment is already the demand of the future, which is already the past. But we don't have to know that, but sounds good. No, it's like when you are the principle of the absolute. If you make the absolute waking up as the absolute wake up as one particle, there's no second self. There's just the particle. By waking up, it's an absolute movement, and the absolute movement, the absolute speed is being from this position. The absolute speed in whatever direction is already there where it started. Can you imagine that?
Trying.
Try. The absolute speed of that what is the absolute. If it's an absolute awakening, it awakens in all directions, but wherever it goes, it already ends up where it started.
Okay.
So in all of that, there is silence. There is no here and there.
There's no movement.
It's here and everywhere, if there is this manifestation. So wherever it starts, is already there where it ends. So it never moves. The absolute speed is silence. That is the absolute manifestation. There's silence. There's nothing ever moved, nothing ever happened, nothing is ever created. Nothing can ever die, nothing is ever born. as nothing can ever die. So even the illusion is absolute in its nature. The illusion never comes and never goes. So if it's real or not real, you cannot get rid of it. So in spite of being real or unreal, you cannot get rid of that. What is that? Call it whatever. Just be as you are, as he would say, the absolute. And absolute means there is no second to it, but the absolute would never know what is the absolute, what is not the absolute. But the one who claims that he realized his true nature is for sure not absolute. Because that's the one who needs to realize his true nature and makes it there is a true and then a not true nature. But the absolute would never know what is true and what is not true. It has no concept of truth, no concept of freedom at all, not even about itself. But we can talk about it. Yeah. So the absolute peace doesn't need any peace. So everything else, peace off. Peace off. So when there is no peace, maybe then there is a peace who doesn't need any peace. When there is no peace, there is no war. Because now you create war by peace. Both comes together. They're all peace fighters. Even the guns called peacemaker. I shoot my neighbor, then I can fuck his wife. That's my peace.
In Australia we would say piss artist.
Piss artist, yeah. P-S-U-R.
P-I-S-S.
Peace artist. Piss. Good. You're from Germany too?
No.
From Austria? No, Austria would be worse. No, Hitler came from Austria, come on. That's the last excuse for Germans. He was Austrian. And only from Austria there comes double niggers. They're called schwarze Neger. And there was a governor in California who told, I called him a double nigger when I was in California. What do you think about Schwarzenegger? I would never vote for a double nigger. Why double nigger? Schwarz and nigger. Neger. It doesn't work. And I said, we once let Austrian in our country. You see what came out of it. The Terminator and Governator trying to become. So that was it. As a good German, I end when two things are meeting at 12 o'clock, high noon. When there are no two, when they are one on one, I have to stop. That's why I start at 10. 10 little niggers walking on. And at 12 they're all done. High noon shooting. I can make everything out of it. It's amazing. It's a fantastic game. Thank you for going.
Have you seen the movie Predestination? This last year it came out.
Yeah.
Have a look, it's good, you'd like it. It's like the story with the chicken and the egg. Which came first? Very interesting.
Yeah, for me, both never came. That's why it's important. That's a koan who disappears when you are what you are. When nothing ever happened, there is no question of chicken and egg. But until then, there's chicken and egg.
But it's a good movie.
Yeah, who did it?
I don't remember.
Attenborough.
Ethan Hawke is plays one of the main roles.
Stephen Hawke is.
Oh, sorry.
Stephen Hawkins is in it.
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan. South of Eastern. No, beyond Eastern.
East of it.
East of Eden. It's a nice. There's a song, East of Eden. Eastern. I like Eason Place. It was a nice English. Most boring West English series anyway. But very nice. Eason Place.
Eaton Place.
Eaton Place. Is that American?
English.
Isn't it?
It was boring.
Must be
That's why they invented. That's why they invented. What was Life of Brian?
Life of Brian.
There was just a revolutionary way that everything. Black humor English was boring. I try to offend the English. I try. Sometimes it works.
Sometimes you succeed.
And the biscuits?
What?
You are not going to pay.
Yes, this is for.
Yes.
She needs it for medicine.
Yes.
For whoever gets the next medicine, I am involved. Oh, an apple.
Oh!
Thank you, Eve.
Snow White.
It will kill you. I'm looking forward to the announcement. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Tomorrow no one's coming.
You think today someone came?
Go without.
Yeah, take was and nuts in case I don't come to
Arrivederci.